Hello, everyone. My name is CaTyra Polland. I am the CEO of Love for Words, which is an editing boutique, and I work with writers and authors to transform their manuscripts into books. I am also the creator and hostess of Editor Knows Best, which is a podcast that is for writers and authors. I interview local and also international authors on that podcast, which airs Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern, anchor.fm/editor knows best. Today, I will be reading a few poems from my recent book of poetry, Dear August, Love August. Thank you, Writers and Books, for selecting me as a literary partner, and I will go ahead and get started. So, the first poem I'll be reading is titled Alone. Um, Surrounded by many, seen by none, screams to deaf ears, visible yet unable to be seen, lonely like a single snowflake, popular outcast, beloved outsider, silent tears, loud thoughts. So the next poem that I will be reading is titled TBM, which stands for To Black Men. So, to Black Men. You are not a monster. You are a gem to be polished, treasured, admired, and most importantly, loved. They ruined your narrative, trampled on your name with mud, labeled you as a thug, imprisoned you, institutionalized, defeated, battered, how they want you, incapable of providing for yourself and your family, locked away and scolded for being gone, bringing your children to jail, prison, and the cemetery to fuel the pipeline and feed the cycle. The next poem that I will be reading is Mocha Chocolate Girls. So this poem is actually near and dear to my heart. I'll read it and then I'll talk a little bit more about it after. Mocha Chocolate Girls. All around the world, they deny your beauty. All around the world, they ignore your presence. All around the world, they look in the mirror and see you, but hate you so much. They call you black. They say you're too dark. Your rich hue is ridiculed. You are teased, harassed, and belittled. You feel ashamed. You feel inferior. And you feel unhappy. You self loathe. You cry and you hide. Despite their words and ignorance, you persevere. You are not alone. You are not shameful. You are not inferior. You are not unhappy. You are all around the world. You are a force to be reckoned with. You do exist. You are beautiful. You are dark. You are lovely. Mocha Chocolate Girls. So this poem means a lot to me. As a young girl in school, there were times that I was teased for my complexion and made fun of. And of course, nobody likes to be teased. It's a part of adolescence and growing up, but it didn't make it any less painful. And I know there are a lot of dark-skinned little girls and women who have similar experiences. So I wrote that poem to empower us, to acknowledge us, to celebrate us, and recognize that colorism is still alive and well, and that we have the power to overcome it, and that we matter, and that we should be celebrated. So I hope that poem inspires dark-skinned girls and women um, to showcase their beauty. And the next poem that I will be reading is Never Enough. Never enough. If I never told you, I'm telling you now. Your love was never enough. I always yearned for more, like a starving child with an empty plate. What you had was never enough. I suffered in silence like a victim without speech. You deprived me, a plane with no fuel. You abandoned me like a childless parent. I knew from the beginning I would be unsatisfied, that you could never fill my cup, that you would never be enough. I knew I would love you and suffer all the while. Your effort trumped my unfulfilled soul. I latched onto you as you depleted my being. I feared without me you would not prevail. I stroked your ego and blessed all of your dreams. I dimmed my own light so your light could beam. In retrospect, I now know that I was so wrong to make myself weak so you could be strong. I poured into you as you drained from me. I wish I knew then what I know now. Pouring into you is the reason that I drowned. And the last poem that I will be reading is Balancing is for Flamingos. So I'll read this one and then give a backstory to this poem here. Balancing is for flamingos. I am not superwoman, and neither is she. I cannot do it all. I cannot have it all. I cannot balance everything. Balancing is for flamingos. I am not a seesaw, so there is no equilibrium. I am not a professional juggler. The balls I carry are dropped often. What is work life balance? Apparently, a figment of our imagination, an impossible standard no one can achieve. Balancing is for flamingos. Women are multidimensional, multi layered, and multifaceted people, but that's just it. We are human. We are not superheroes with capes, perfect without flaws, or capable of doing it all. Balancing is for flamingos. We need help. We need We need help, we need support and love. Women need other people. We cannot do it alone. Why should we? We are a part of an interdependent system with various moving parts. We need you too. Our being and soul requires replenishment, satisfaction, and recharging. Why? Because balancing is for flamingos. So I went to a conference in, I think it was Atlanta, and there was a speaker, I believe it was Deneen, I want to say her last name's Brown. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But she was one of the speakers, and she mentioned the phrase balancing is for flamingos, and she talked about being a mother and an entrepreneur and an author and a speaker and all of the different roles that she filled in her life. And when she said balancing is for flamingos, it resonated with me, and it led me to write the poem Balancing is for Flamingos. And as a woman, of course, I'm an editor and a business owner, and I have several projects, and I have a full time job, and I'm an author. I can relate to the statement, and I know there are a lot of other girls and women who carry a lot on their plate. So it's overwhelming, and sometimes we feel like we can do everything, but we can't, and that's okay. So that's why I wrote Balancing is for Flamingos, for all the women who juggle and don't always succeed. So I hope that poem spoke to the women out there trying to do everything. It's okay if you can't. So thank you again for listening. This is from my book, Dear August, Love August. It is available on Amazon. This is this is the proof copy, but it's on Amazon. You can purchase it um, either as a paperback or as an ebook. So thank you again for watching. Thank you. And thank you again, Writers and Books, for selecting me as a literary partner. Be well and be safe, everyone.